Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Figure Finds and Unboxings, we are going to check out the Mattel Creations San Diego Comic-Con Ultimate Edition exclusive No Holds Barred 2-pack. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. All right, as you can see here, I got two of them. I know not everyone was lucky to get through, but I figured I would grab two because I did get through. I was lucky enough to get mine when they went on sale. I like the night before, because we knew when they were dropping, we knew what time they were supposed to be dropping, so I made sure my Mattel Creations, everything was in order, all my payment was in order, I made sure all of my info was in there, I had my account ready to go. And then the morning of the drop, I was at a park with my 3-year-old, and my brother-in-law and my sister were also there with me. But then I got scheduled for a work call, and I want to say it was like 10 or 11 it was supposed to drop. So at 10 o'clock, I was on a work call. I was waiting for these to drop, so I had a speakerphone on, and then it hit time, it opened up, and it immediately said sold out. And I was like, no way in hell these are sold out. I literally, like, the clock had just struck. So I waited. I didn't refresh. I just waited a little bit. And I was like, well, if they're sold out, not a big deal. I'm not going to be the only one heartbroken. So I looked at it for just a second. I hit refresh then, and it popped up that they were available. So right away, I put two in my cart, and it was hell checking out. It took so long. I was not positive I was going to get these, and then it said limit 2, so I figured I'd grab one. I'm in a group of people that help each other out, so I thought maybe someone in there will want one. I thought maybe I'll just keep one mock, because I saw these and I was like, wow, they always go all out with the San Diego Comic-Con packaging, so I knew it'd be cool packaging. But this packaging, there's more than just one box that looks cool. There's so much. Like, this set blew me away, and I figured, what the heck, the limit's 2. I'm gonna grab 2 while I'm in here. I got my 2, waited a little bit, and finally they are here. So one is definitely staying in the box, and I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with it. I would like to display it. I don't really have a place to display my mock collection. I have some AW chases. I have I guess my whole mock collection is like chase figures. AW chase figures, and the Brody Lee -1 2-pack is what I have mock. Everything else is loose. I let it breathe. You don't want to keep toys in there forever. You got to let them have fun. You got to have fun with them. Anyway, I'm going to unbox one, set the other one off to the side, and we will take a look at these figures. All right, so just out of that first box we saw, so just that black box that had everything on the side, this is what we get. So it says rip 'em on top. I don't know how familiar you guys are with this movie. I watched it a long time ago when I was little. The movie honestly doesn't have a lot of meaning to me. What I got this for was the Zeus figure. I actually had been working on a Zeus Elite. I was using an Ezekiel Jackson head. And I had acetone one of the eyes off so that I could repaint it and give him his classic lazy eye. And it honestly, the custom didn't look that bad. It was a little short, which I didn't realize till I had kind of pieced everything together and started painting. But then not long after that, I saw the rumor that this was coming, and I was like, well, what the hell? I'm gonna start working on my custom. And then boom, we got it. Which doesn't always happen. Sometimes you see rumors and you're just disappointed, but this was one that turned out to be true, and honestly, just from pictures, what I have seen, it is better than I imagined it would be. So the front here, we've got a little remake of the actual movie poster. On the side, you've got them face to face. And these guys did fight in WWE after the movie as kind of a cross promotion, which is not necessarily a match you need to go check out. But these figures are sweet. I'm excited to get a Zeus. We did get a Jakks Classic Superstar Zeus, which is hard to get. It's another one I didn't want to spend a ton to get his head scans, so it all worked out. as I'm trying to go through and fill my collection, pieces like this, like Zeus, like we got the shark a few years ago. We've gotten a red rooster, like characters like that. I love getting in my collection because I just think it's really cool. And Jack's Classic Superstars did a lot of that, filling in weird holes with like not random, just like deep cut guys, which I think is really cool. So on the back here, we've just got a little bit more about Rip Thomas, or Hulk Hogan, and Zeus. And when they fought in WWE or WWF at the time, it was Hulk Hogan against Zeus. And then they did fight again in WCW, and he went by Z Gangsta. So I don't know if No Holds Barred was in association with WWE. I don't know a lot about it, but clearly he couldn't use that Zeus name. So I'm going to further unbox these guys, and we will keep taking a peek. More boxes. So I thought about just skipping past this, but I did want to talk about this because while No Holds Barred the movie wasn't like huge to me, I did grow up watching all of my wrestling on VHS tapes. So I had, like, my grandpa had the first VHS of wrestling I ever watched. He had WrestleMania 2 on VHS, and I rewatched that thing until it couldn't rewind anymore. And if you didn't have a VCR, if you've never had a VCR in your life, one, you're missing out. Those things were such a massive pain in the ass. You'd get through the end of a movie and you'd have to hit rewind. It's going to take you a good 3 minutes, 5 minutes to rewind all the way back to the beginning, depending on how high of quality VCR you had. But I had a lot of these on VHS. I used to watch all the old WWF pay-per-views on VHS. I'd go to Family Video. I'd go to, I don't even remember. Premiere Video, I think, is where I went the most to rent old movies. But my dad and I would just watch the hell out of old VHS movies. And I think it's really cool that they made this a VHS tape. Okay, the final one. So we've got them here. You can see the figures, and the VHS part of it is just like a little cover over it. It's just pulled right out. So we've got our Hulk, we've got our Zeus, and they're just in plastic here with, one day, I know Bill has said, Bill or Steve, I can't remember which one said it, said that we're not moving towards plastic or non-plastic windows. Good Lord, there's a bunch of crap holding these in here. With the Kane Ultimate Edition that is coming with that ring, there's no window on the box. And Steve, I think, came out and said that's not going to be the norm moving forward. It was just a one-time thing, but you have to think that that is going to be happening, especially the way Hasbro is moving to windowless. With as much plastic as our figures use for their packaging, you've got to think that that's coming. I don't know, though. So I'm just getting them out of their package here. So you can see that little box on the bottom they are standing on says additional accessories included, because this does come with a ton of stuff. And man, I think, I haven't moved these around. I haven't checked out articulation. Just looking at them, these are rad. I have no regrets about dropping $75 on them or whatever, which really isn't that bad if you're like actually looking at how much like an ultimate costs. If you buy 2 ultimates at normal price, there's 32. So this is a little bit more. They come with a ton of accessories, which sometimes we're a little let down by some of the accessories. So I can say that this is not one of those instances. All right, we've got our Rip Thomas out of here. They put a shit ton of these little arm, or the plastic, I don't know, to hold them in place. They did a great job making sure they weren't gonna move. Let's just say that. I had to pop off Zeus's arm to get him all the way out of the packaging. So, some people were concerned, well, this is a little disappointing, that this was just a reuse of Hulk Hogan, that they just did like a Hulk Hogan body, but they did not. These Zeus legs are gigantic. Mine does have a little gap in them. So they're both huge dudes. Actually, let's adjust the camera here. You can get all of them. So Hogan, Obviously not in his classic yellow. He wore blue in this movie, which is a cool look. I think it's cool to see him in something different. I could see us getting like a Rocky and Thunderlips 2-pack. I think that would be pretty cool if we got a Sylvester Stallone and a Hulk Hogan Thunderlips attire with him in the white or whatever. We are getting the Coliseum Classic Hogan, which I think he's wearing red in that. I think the scheme is red and white. I don't remember if the tights exactly were white or red, but we're getting a different one there. I grew up, I was a huge Hogan fan as a kid. Not as huge as I like some other wrestlers like Shawn Michaels. He was one of my favorites. Jeff Hardy, I've talked about that. But Hogan, I mean, he was a huge influence in wrestling, especially growing up. I grew up with the Attitude Era. I grew up with Ruthless Aggression. So getting him in any form is always really cool. And then getting first time in the line figures, I'm a sucker for. It's always gonna be hard for me to pass up first time in the line guys, especially like Zeus. I can see them releasing another Zeus. Maybe not an Ultimate Edition though. But I thought that same thing about Mr. T. So like I said, Zeus, the calves, I wanna say, I don't think we've seen those. I don't know. I know like Bruno Sammartino, he came with big calves like that, but the like ankles are a little bit thicker. And then the thighs, I don't know. It's really hard to tell what is reused and what is not. They've got the nice belt on Zeus. They've got the Z in the side, and then let's get in close here. And you can see he's got the lazy eye. You can't have Zeus, you can't have Debo without the lazy eye. And they covered the silver on the knee pads, and I think it is a little bit different. He looks a little bit different. He might have more silver when he wrestled at SummerSlam, but this is based off the movie, I believe. I don't remember the movie that well. Like, it is just like a faint memory of mine. But again, I needed these figures. So let's get out the accessories. Okay, so I took the accessory box out of there, and again, so like we had with the New Generation Macho Man, we had our accessory thing in the bottom, and it was not the box was nice and heavy, and this accessory box is loaded. It has so much in it. Like, they're all just packed in here like this, and so we've got the Hulk Hogan accessory pack here on top. Oops, there goes the hand. And then we've got the Zeus pack on the bottom, which doesn't have quite as much, but it has this massive shoulder pad piece that he wore. Just over the top ridiculousness. It's just awesome. And quite frankly, so this is coming from someone that collects figures loose. So just disclaimer. But I wouldn't mind if we got stuff like this. If they were a little more creative with packaging, obviously we're not going to do this with all of our elites, but if I had my accessories just in a little box in the bottom like that, and they found a way to incorporate it windowless, I'm not against it. I have gotten a few of the Spider-Man figures that are windowless. I don't like the design on those. I think they did a really poor job. I think they rushed it and just said, oh, people are going to buy these anyway. We don't really care what our boxes look like. So I think it'll happen eventually, but the way they did this is really nice, which is San Diego Comic-Con. Obviously, they have that budget, they have that opportunity, but yeah, I like how they did it. I'm not going to put every single thing on. You can see the hands here. We've got the typical hands. We do have these hands that are a little bit different. These are the Rip'em hands. So not necessarily, that's a new mold. I don't know why we'd get those again unless we get another Hulk Hogan from this movie. But we get a couple head scans, which I believe are new. I think those are new head scans. We've gotten so many Hogans lately that I can't even tell. We got the Rip'em shirt. We got the belt that is white. He got a ton of stuff. He got your typical Hogan listening hands, listening to the crowd hands. He's got his fists. Hulk Hogan needs fists. He can't flex without fists. Zeus is the one that I am happy about, honestly, because he's not a guy we're going to get a lot, and they didn't really cut corners. They gave us, so we got this headband to go, like his training headband. He got some extra hands, and then he got an extra head, and then the shoulder pads are the coolest part. I'm really happy we got those. So he's got two head scans here. So this one's more like a angry grimacing, and then this one's like a yelling. And I've seen people already do Debo fix-ups, or customs, I guess, which are cool, but also I will not be touching these because they're exclusives, and I got my 2. I'm sticking with 2. I'm not buying extra because I do think that we will get another Zeus down the line. Eventually. It might take a little bit. But here he is with his shoulder pads on, and I don't think anyone is going... This movie was not critically acclaimed. I mean, it's the Hulk Hogan movie. I don't think a lot of those are critically acclaimed. And their match that they had was no 5-star classic either. But back in the day, you know, match quality itself is not looked at the same as it was, or as it is now. So it was more about this moment, and this movie, this moment, it was big. It was a celebrity coming in doing whatever, and it was cool. I mean, for me, I was a kid. I thought it was cool watching it back. I wasn't alive. I was born in '92, so everything, like I said, was on a VHS. I thought it was cool because I knew Debo before I had seen this match, and I just thought it was awesome. Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's review. These figures are awesome. If you're ever able to get these, grab them. They're cool. They were $75 at MSRP at retail, and I know that the secondary market is probably going to be nuts for at least a little bit. So if you come across these at a decent price, snag them. If not, you're probably going to be able to get at least Zeus down the line if we don't get another RIP figure. That is going to wrap things up. Sorry. That is going to wrap things up, and okay, I thought I was done with my review. I was shelving these guys. I was putting Hulk and I was putting Zeus up on my shelf, and I was trying to get him to stand, and it was kind of awkward, so I was looking at his feet, trying to adjust them. His feet are on the wrong feet. So I looked at him, and I'll try and get it up here closely so that you can tell. Focus, come on. There. His feet are on the wrong feet. His right is on his left, and his left is on his right. You can see both of his feet pointing out. And for a $75 Ultimate exclusive, like, maybe not everyone's pulling it out of the box. It doesn't look terrible if you don't notice. It's not bad, but what kind of quality control is that? How do you put the feet? Actually, I've had this happen before, but this is an expensive, like one of their high-end figures. It's an exclusive. Not everyone is just gonna go boil water and pop feet back on so that they're looking the right way. So the hip on mine is also a little, like, there's a gap, which isn't the end of the world, but it does kind of annoy me. Like, if I have to pay $75 to get a couple figures, then, like, I want them in good condition. And I really, like, there's really not a lot of other issues with these. They've looked good. I guess now that I look at the shoulder pads, they're a little offset, like the silver, which I don't know, maybe they're just sitting funny, but I normally don't get very picky. But now that I look at the feet and I look at the shoulder pads, those do kind of bother me. So it doesn't change anything. I still really like the figure. I really like the Hulk. I really like Zeus. I like everything about it, but damn, I'm kind of shocked I had to cut back into this video to talk about some poor quality control that I missed the first time. I was just so in love with these figures the first time through that I didn't even notice it, but this dude's feet are on the wrong feet. Please like, share, and subscribe. All that business. I always appreciate it. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy figures. Figure Dude, out.